said one day I would be good at this YouTube stuff. Well, I can tell you today ain't the day. It ain't the day. Because I had an intro film for this video already. And apparently I deleted it. And the before modifications was a very important part of this, because we're doing heat shield on the headers of the Drift Mustang, and showing you guys the before temperature would have been ideal. Don't hit the trash can, Michael. What is that? But apparently in my tomfoolery, I deleted it. I don't know how, I don't know why, but at some point I deleted it. So we need gas, so I'm gonna go put gas in this thing, and I think there is a spot that I can neighbors like to wave at me when I'm in this thing. Probably because they're like, there's that mother with that stupid car. Anyway, I gotta get some heat in the thing and then find a spot that doesn't have the heat shield on it so I can show you a quote-unquote before and after. I don't even know if you can see me right now because I'm trying to do this in drive. But I'm gonna put this down. We're gonna go to the gas station, put some fuel in this old girl because she's thirsty, and then we're going to put it back in the garage. I'll pop the hood, and then I will see if I can get some decent readings on this exhaust for you. So we'll find out. Alright, we made it back home. We know the engine's on. We got some fuel. I popped the hood. Well, look at that fuel mileage we're getting. Woo! Anyway, let's hop out of this thing and see if we can't get you some heat readings that are close to what they were, you know, without the wrap. See if I can find a spot where I can sneak in there and see. We're about to find out. But she's nice and warm. They did a couple pulls. Man, you can hear everything in this thing now. Did some other mods that you'll see in the next video, but she's getting to be more and more race car every day. All right. Let's pop the hood here and see what we're working with. Okay, so I know it's very hard to do. If I can get this light spot where you guys see on those headers. Alright, so we're going to try to get to a spot, and I'm going to aim this thing where that black wobbly stuff isn't, so we can get a proper reading. So right on the header, essentially, well, 423. But it's quite a difference. Alright guys, so first things first, we got to shine this guy down there. We got to get that motor mount off. Let's see if I can. I'm blown out, sorry. But this side's gonna be the hard side. Getting those bolts off the motor mount. This side on the driver's side is gonna be fairly easy. You've got kind of direct access to them. So we're gonna take these off from up top, and then we're gonna jack the car up and support the engine, and then we'll get to taking the starter and the steering shaft off, and then start working on these headers. All right, I'm gonna grab old Red here, support the engine now that we got it up in our teeth. And then we're gonna take the starter off. I'm gonna start on that side, on the passenger side, over there with the starter. I hate the starter in this car. Hopefully, having done it a couple times now, it doesn't trick my brain and I remember how to do it right. Because you can only get one, not two, not three, but one bolt on this side. So we're gonna have to get it from the bottom. But I think the starter's gotta come out of our way anyway. So while I'm up here, I'm gonna disconnect that battery and then we're going to pull the starter. Okay, we got it out, and let me tell you something. It's a nightmare. I must have said a million curse words getting it out. You know, if you're doing this, just plan on not fun, jamming your hands into places they don't fit. I am gonna order new motor mounts because these have decidedly kicked the bucket. Let me see if I can show you one-handed. Actually, let me set you up real quick. So this motor mount here, let me see if I can brace it enough. You can see it's tearing, and it's feels like it's a liquid-filled mount, and it's pretty shot. If I take this, you can see I can actually spread this guy open by hand. So you can imagine how much movement it's going to have when you've got, you know, 400 pounds of torque on it. It's actually starting to split right here too. So these are shot. I'm not putting them back in. So I'm going to order some more motor mounts, but in the meantime, we've got this side out. I'm going to try to get this header out. Let me show you under the car. So I've taken the liberty of taking the mid pipes out because it's just a couple of clamps and some brute force and they come out. There's a couple in the front that are going to be kind of a pain in the ass. I'm going to start with them, then hopefully we'll have this side out, and then we will get to jump on the other side, which should also equally be a big giant pain in my asshole. You know, I'm looking forward to that. But it has to be done, so nothing left to do but to complain and start working again. So we're gonna curse and scream and get these header bolts off, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, we finally got it out. Anybody who tells you that this is fun, rewarding, easy, anything like that, they're either lying or they're like a sociopath or something, because that is a mother. So I had to take my intake boot off and jack the engine pretty much up until this touched the strut brace, to get the header past the studs. Now, a lot of these headers, if you're just doing this for headers, I don't know if you're able to see the exhaust studs in there, but I have the factory studs. They're not quite as long as the JZ studs, but I have studs. I believe in studs. I'm not fond of the bolts. This thing had bolts in it when I bought it. They were loose, and I don't know if that's just a thing from previous owner or it's just bolts in general. I like studs. I don't know, it's a thing. Anyway, I'm keeping the studs, so it was a bitch to have to get the exhaust off the studs. If I'm honest with you, I should have just pulled this engine out of the car for this. I would have been done pulling the engine by now. This has taken, to get one header off, has taken, what time is it? Yeah, 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours. Maybe I'm just bad at this, but getting these long tubes off, I'm sure stock headers mucho easier to deal with. But pulling long tubes off, just pull the engine on the car. It's kind of where I'm at. But apparently the driver's side looks easier. You know, I can actually see the exhaust studs and everything from up here over on this side. I need to shove the engine that way some, because I shoved it this way some. So, give it a little push like that. It's just one of the things, man. This is the downfall of the Coyote, is that it's so damn wide. But I digress, I'm rambling. It's time to get the steering shaft off. I need to go grab a paint pen, mark it, and then we'll pull that apart and then start taking the other side off. And here's the two you gotta get from the top. One here, and then one peeking right there. We should be able to get a wrench on those guys pretty easily, pop them off. I've got all of them loose at the bottom. I left one just on, so I don't want this thing just falling and hitting the ground. So we'll get these two off, and then we'll go back down the bottom, pull that last nut off, and then get this thing out of here finally. All right, guys, we got it out finally. And I lied to you, there is one more pain in the butt bolt, and it is this guy right here. Mainly just because it is tucked. Let's see if I can see, you can see the stud. You can't really see the stud, but basically it's right down past where my finger was just pointing. And you just got to get it off 1/8 of a turn at a time with an open end. But we're gonna have to clean this all up and get ready to start wrapping them. So that's where we're at. All right, guys, let me see if I can get this light to stand up. Actually, do I have my other light? Yeah, that'll work. You see this right here? That has pretty much, so we can get a better angle at it, worn through. Well, it has worn through the steel braiding, almost worn through the inner lining of my clutch line. And what was happening, you can see on the steering shaft right here, finger is, where it's nice and clean. That was actually rubbing. I guess we had this line routed on the wrong side of the steering shaft, and it was getting pinched between the steering shaft and the exhaust header. So we're gonna reroute this when we put this back together. I'm gonna order a new line, and yeah, just add it to the list. So I just wanted to show you guys that, what I found. I'd seen it yesterday, but I wasn't sure how bad it was because it still had the steering shaft kind of in the way and all that. So I will, I'll get a new one, and we'll heat sleeve it before it goes in, and then pop her in. So yeah, just wanted to give you guys the lowdown. I'm missing 2 exhaust stud nuts. I don't know what happened to them, but I dropped them in the abyss somewhere. So I'm gonna look around and see if I can't find those. Alrighty, guys. Dude, that thing scared the crap out of me. Hit me in the top of the head. I thought something was on me. Something alive, that is. All right, so we have our header. Apparently all we need to do this is straight edge, which I've got a couple of different straight edges, a utility knife, a marker. I'm gonna use this stuff. It's kind of like thin cardboard, but it's what you'd put down if you were doing like you know, renovations and you wanted to protect the floor, or you know, whatever. It's called X-board. Me and my neighbors ironically use it for crawfish bowls. We put it down over the table, and it works great for like soaking up crawfish boil juice. Anyway, here nor there, I'm gonna be using this stuff to make templates out of. I figure like it's gonna be better than just using paper, because it might mimic the aluminum a little bit better. I know it's a mess up there. You have to forgive me. So the plan is to cut off, you know, the length of this so we can use this cardboard. They say you could. The directions from Heat Shield products say you could use butcher paper. I don't know about you, but I've never used butcher paper in my life to make templates or poster board. I figure this is kind of like poster board. Anyway, here or there, we got this thing. We're going to kind of mock everything up on it, and then I'll wipe it down with some brake cleaner. I don't want to touch it with my fingers and all that stuff while we're mocking it up, and then seal in that oil, because it, you know, probably not going to be a problem, but you know, you got oil and sweat and everything on your fingers. I don't want to seal that up in the pipe, potentially cause a fire. It probably would never happen, but better safe than sorry. So what we'll do is we'll mock everything up, kind of get all the pieces cut and laid out, and then before we go to put it on, I'll clean it all down with some brake cleaner. Then I'll put on some gloves and put it on for the final time. This is what we're using to put it on. Some stainless steel zip ties from the old Harbor Freight. They're the cheapest ones you can find. So, you know, that should fall right off of there. And then we'll have to do this all over again. No, I think they'll be fine. They are 304 stainless, heat resistant, non-flammable, non-corrosive. So, you know, I think this should do all right. And then we'll strap them down with that. So, first things first, let's get this thing laid over and in the proper position, and we'll start making some templates. So plans have changed. I've switched to the driver's side header first because it is looking like I'm going to be able to wrap these all individually, at least up till we get close to the collector here, and then I'll just do big kind of blankets across this way. I gotta take this O2 sensor off. But I'm gonna start with this side first because it's gonna be easier than trying to do the other one, which is gonna take some doing. So I took some measurements of each of the pipe's length, and I cut the material into those links, and then clean these headers up and then start wrapping them. It does make you itch. I don't care what they say. That's a good spot of it over here. Weird.
Oh, it is really thick right there.
I'm gonna have to cut a little more.
like the seal right there.
So we made ourselves a little fancy specialty tool out of a old quarter drive socket. Let's cut a little slit in it so we could tighten the shit out of these stainless steel zip ties. It's the fanciest zip ties I've ever used. They work though.
Oh yeah, they work. Oh yeah, she in there. You ain't going nowhere.
Alright, so this is our crazy zip tie setup here if we're going to use for this blanketed section. I had originally thought we could run these pipes like this top one all, you know, because they do have these big gaps, but this stuff is much thicker than you think. So we're just going to blanket this whole section. We'll probably do another one from here to here, and then we'll do another one back here to the collector, and then I'm going to leave these open until I know I have enough to come cover these, but I want to do at least to the collectors. But if I don't have enough to cover these last bits of the pipes, we'll see. I should, but I don't want to, you know, count my chickens before they hatch kind of deal, right? So we're about to strap these things on here. It's like a porcupine. It's crazy.
It does look kind of wild.
We took this piece and then we transferred it to this, cut it. You've seen already before, you know, folding over the edges and all that stuff. So we're taking the techniques on the first pipe and applying it to this pipe now.
The last piece of the first pipe.
Yeah, the last piece of the first pipe. Not the first piece. There it is over there looking sad. But we're hoping that we can get this section kind of on and laid over, and then we'll add a small piece to finish off this front pipe. And then we'll do another section here, and then maybe back here if we've got enough material. So
Shield.
yep, think of this stuff more as a shield and not a wrap. That's how, when you're applying it, that's what you need to be, that's the mindset. So we're going to start
Bending.
bending and strapping and trying to get it into place as much as we can, and then we'll start snugging her down. Alrighty, so you can see passenger side where we had learned a couple things, and the driver's side where we didn't know nothing, except for down here we kind of started to figure out the process. But like me and Drew were talking about, I don't know, like that header on the passenger side is very compact. All the pipes are really tight together. On the driver's side you got this one lone pipe that kind of does its thing until it gets to the collector. I don't know if we would have been able to, we could have made a big shield, but you'd have a big air gap here. I think we probably could have, like this is its own separate little piece. If we, you know, had some experience, we probably could have made this one section and then, you know, probably this one section and then just had a separate piece just to like right there on that pipe or something. But I think it's going to do its job, serve its purpose, keep the heat where, you know, next to the engine instead of into the clutch lines and AC lines and everything else where these things are rubbing. I should have taken a video of it, but I forgot. But you could actually see on the driver's side pipe where the clutch line was actually eating into the header. So we also have some hot rod sleeve that we're going to put on the new clutch line. So that should insulate that even further. So we'll knock that out. Yeah, and we ended up with a full roll. So we'll maybe put that somewhere in the engine bay. Maybe put it around the master cylinder.
Yeah, that little piece.
I think that little piece will work. Yeah. We'll just have to figure out like where we, you know, can kind of put that stuff in it. They make this stuff in a sticky form too, where you can mold this and stick it to all kind of stuff. So it's pretty neat. But Drew and I are going to run to get some high temp paint, grab some food, and then we'll come back. I'll pull these out back, spray paint them black so they kind of blend in a little bit. And then we'll sleeve that clutch line and then probably start putting the headers back on, getting that thing back together. So not bad. All right, guys, give you one last peek at these before we throw them in the car. Same thing, same engine anyway. Yeah, I think they're gonna be all right. Drew's already throwing in the driver's side, so this is what they look like all painted up. The other side obviously looks just like this, except for it's the other side. I'm gonna throw them in, get them bolted up, and start putting these motor mounts and everything on. Alright, so we're gonna try to get to a spot, and I'm gonna aim this thing where that black wobbly stuff isn't, so we can get a proper reading. So right on the header, essentially, well, 423, somewhere down the neighborhood after a good little romp. And coming on the shielding. Well, falling over, guys. Took a pop a squat here in the Mustang. Anyway, so you saw the big difference. What, about 40%? And that's what they claim, about 40%. So we were at 420, and then down to about 220, 230. And in some spots even less than that, like 180, 170. But, you know, that is a Harbor Freight temp gun, but it gives you an idea. So we should be seeing some cooler temperatures. So if it's something that you were kind of on the fence about, it does, you know, do what it claims. So it's a good product so far. Like I said, we've just driven it up and down the block, haven't really beat on the car too much. I mean, I did some pulls at the beginning of the video and really was getting down on it. So definitely better than it was. And then we'll see at the next event kind of how it goes from here. Sorry about the choppiness of this video. I lost a lot of the footage that we had done. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if I deleted it, if it just never made the transfer to the computer. I have no idea. But you get the idea of how it's done. Obviously, I had filmed us putting in the motor mounts and the new clutch line and all that stuff, but it just didn't get on here. I don't know what happened to it. But anyway, here or there. I do appreciate you coming out and watching the videos. If you made it this far, you're a trooper. Give it a thumbs up, a like, all that good stuff, and I will hopefully catch you on the next one. Peace.